and I want to welcome Mr. Tom Campbell, Mr. Chuck DeVore.
We're going to draw straws to see who goes first and where they stand on the podium.
We are.
Okay, go to it.
Okay. Please, whoever loses, I heard easy.
I can't see them, so Tim, you'll have to tell me.
Okay. Now.
Mr. DeVore, and you want to choose which side you want to stand on. All right.
Okay, let the debate begin. You know something? I said I'm only over 40, but I'm lying. Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you,
Barbara
Melanie.
Simpson. She's been a figure.
Use the microphone so they can hear you.
I'm sorry about this. You women are going to hit me now, but I took her for granted. Barbara's been here for the last 2 debates. She's from KSFO.
Yes.
She's been in the broadcasting and radio business for over 20 years. She's won 2 Emmys when she was the 10 o'clock anchor person for an independent station.
Channel 2.
Channel 2, thank you. And we are so privileged to have the babe in the bunker. It's really going to be strange when we have our monthly meetings and we don't have Barbara to turn around to. So we thank you, Barbara, very much.
Thank you.
And just for the record, I do subscribe to the Chronicle to be delivered to my house every day, and I also subscribe to Mother Jones, so, you know, all right. And I didn't know they were going to be here, so I'm not just saying that. I do want to give you the format that we're going to follow tonight. It's relatively simple. I've done the other 2 debates, and first of all, for the audience, please, no noise. No outbursts of comments and no catcalls, and please turn off your cell phones. Please, please, please. Do that right now. As you know, the order of speaking determined by the drawing of straws. The opening remarks by the candidates, 5 minutes each. Answering questions, 2 minutes each. Rebuttal, 1 minute each. The order will rotate after each question, the order of who answers first. After that, we will have some questions and answers, questions from the audience, and answers from our speakers here. No rebuttals at that point, and then at the very end, a 2-minute summation. For me and for the 2 candidates, this young lady sitting down here in the black sweater has a piece of green paper, and she says time. So she will hold that up when you have about 10 seconds left, and then she will give me the high sign when your time is up. I just briefly want to give you, I have extensive biographies of the gentlemen. I will try to cut it down a little bit so that we have more time to hear from them directly tonight. Chuck DeVore describes himself as a common sense conservative candidate for the Senate against Barbara Boxer. Both of these candidates are against Barbara Boxer. He represents 500,000 constituents in the California State Assembly. He is vice chairman of the Assembly Committee on Revenue and Taxation, serves on the Veterans Affairs Committee and the Joint Legislative Audit Committee. He was elected in 2004, re-elected in 2006 and 2008. He's been honored as Legislator of the Year by 7 groups involving business and veterans organizations. He worked in the aerospace industry for 13 years, was Vice President of Research before leaving work to begin serving as an elected official. I suspect that was work too. He served as a Reagan White House appointee in the Pentagon from 1986 to 88 as Special Assistant to Foreign Affairs. His duties included working with Congress to advance the President's foreign and military policy. His official travels took him around the world, and he helped develop the Arrow anti-ballistic missile program. He served as Director of Public Liaison for former Congressman Chris Cox's first campaign for public office. He was also the Congressman's senior assistant. He was a city commissioner in the city of Irvine, chairman of the city's Community Services Commission, He enlisted in the United States Army Reserve in 1983, earned an ROTC scholarship. He attended Claremont McKenna College, graduated with honors with a degree in strategic studies in 1985, was commissioned an officer, also studied overseas at the American University in Cairo. After more than 24 years of active reserve service, he retired from the Army National Guard. He is now a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Retired Reserve, a graduate of the U.S. Army's Command and General Staff College. His awards include the Meritorious Service Medal, the Army Commendation Medal with Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, and others. He's been active since he was a youngster in Republican Party activities. He's also an author of novels and opinion pieces for various publications that you have all read. He is married and has 2 daughters. Tom Campbell has a PhD in economics from the University of Chicago. His faculty advisor was Milton Friedman. Prior to that, he had obtained his BA and MA degrees in economics from the University of Chicago on the same day in 1973. He then entered Harvard Law School, where he served on the Harvard Law Review Board of Editors, graduated magna cum laude from Harvard Law in 1976. After law school, he served as law clerk to U.S. Supreme Court Justice Byron White, then returned to the University of Chicago for his economics doctorate, received in 1980. His free market economics training cemented a lifelong commitment to limited government and greater individual liberty. He was a White House Fellow in the Office of the Chief of Staff. He then served in the Reagan administration as director of the Bureau of Competition at the Federal Trade Commission from 1981 to 83. In 1983, he was offered a professorship at Stanford Law School, received full tenure in 1987 at the age of 34. At Stanford, his classes included antitrust, international trade law, corporate law, constitutional law, with a particular emphasis on the application of economics to legal problems. In 1988, he entered public service again, served as a United States Congressman for 5 terms, representing districts in the Silicon Valley. He was also a California state senator and the director of finance to the state of California. In Congress, he served on the Judiciary Committee, the Joint Economic Committee, the Banking and Housing Committee, and the International Relations Committee. Served since 2004 on the Council of Economic Advisors to California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. During Tom's tenure as state finance director, California's budget was balanced with no tax increases, no borrowing, and no accounting gimmicks. He has received many accolades for his public service. Let's see, I'm going to skip naming all of them so we can get going on this. In 2002, he was appointed Dean of the Haas School of Business at the University of California, Berkeley. As Dean of Haas, he stressed the importance of corporate social responsibility and business ethics amid an era of corporate scandals. In 2009, he and his wife took a leave of absence to move to Southern California, where he joined Chapman University School of Law in Orange County as the inaugural presidential fellow and visiting professor of law. He also serves as an economic advisor to the international law firm of Gibson, Dunn, and Crutcher. Let's welcome both of these very, very wonderful. Okay, so as far as our order of speaking, they drew the straws, and Chuck DeVore is first, and we will ask each candidate to give an opening statement of 5 minutes each. Mr. DeVore.
It's great to be here tonight among people who are conservative and who have their country's best interests at heart. I know I've seen many of you at my many stops here in Marin County. Frankly, if you asked me 2 years ago if I, while running for the Senate, would have shown up in Marin County some half-dozen times, I would have said, why? And yet here I am, here's Congressman Campbell, and here are all of you. Yeah. And I think that this is incredible, and I think it also shows the very key point we are in U.S. history right now. The reason why you are here is largely because of things that were set in motion many years ago, where unfortunately the Republican Party lost its way and began this unending compromise with the left over how big government should be and how quickly we should have big government. And what we saw was the specter of a Republican president and a Republican Congress growing government by the biggest amount in U.S. history since Lyndon Baines Johnson's Great Society in the mid-1960s.